Case summary. Case citation. On the application of UNISON v. Lord Chancellor 2017 UKSC 51 Court, Supreme Court of the United Kingdom Judges, Lord Neuberger, Lady Hale, Lord Mance, Lord Kerr, Lord Wilson, Lord Reed, Lord Hughes, Lord Hodge, Lord Towelson, Lord Carnwath. Background facts. Claimant, UNISON, Trade Union, Defendant, Lord Chancellor, Government, UNISON, a trade union representing public sector workers, challenged the legality of employment tribunal fees introduced by the Lord Chancellor through statutory instruments in 2013 and 2014. These fees were intended to be paid by individuals pursuing claims in employment tribunals, ranging from straightforward claims to more complex ones. The fees varied based on the type of claim, with higher fees for more complex cases. Argument. Claimant's argument. UNISON argued that the employment tribunal fees regime was unlawful and unconstitutional. They contended that the fees prevented access to justice, particularly for low-income individuals and those with valid employment claims. UNISON also argued that the fees disproportionately impacted women and minority groups, contributing to inequality. Defendant's argument. The Lord Chancellor argued that the introduction of fees was necessary to reduce the burden on taxpayers and to deter unmeritorious claims. They also claimed that the fees were set at a reasonable level to maintain access to justice and were not disproportionately burdensome. Final outcome and legal justification. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously in favor of UNISON, declaring that the employment tribunal fees regime introduced by the Lord Chancellor was unlawful and unconstitutional. The court held that the fees interfered unjustifiably with access to justice and were therefore unlawful under both domestic and EU law. Legal justification. Access to justice. The court emphasized that access to justice is a fundamental constitutional right and a cornerstone of the rule of law. The fees regime had the effect of preventing individuals, especially those with lower incomes, from accessing justice and enforcing their employment rights. Unlawful under EU law. The court also found that the fees regime contravened EU law principles, including the effectiveness of EU rights and non-discrimination, particularly in relation to claims involving EU law rights such as discrimination. Disproportionate impact. The decision highlighted the disproportionate impact of the fees on certain groups, including women and minority workers, which undermined the intended balance of justice and fairness. Key concept implication. The case underscores the importance of access to justice as a fundamental right and the role of the courts in ensuring that barriers, such as prohibitive fees, do not impede this right. It sets a precedent for the scrutiny of court fees and charges, emphasizing the need for proportionality and fairness in access to legal remedies. Key learnings. Upholding access to justice is fundamental in constitutional and EU law contexts. Courts play a crucial role in safeguarding rights against disproportionate barriers, including financial impediments like court fees. The case highlights the broader societal implications of access to justice, particularly in protecting vulnerable and disadvantaged groups.